Well, welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. I'm Carol Livingston from Dynamics Connections and your host of ISV Talks. On this episode, I have two experts from Aptean, and I have Bruno Johansson and William Linger. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Carol. Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks, Carol.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited to have you guys here today to talk about your solutions. And do you want to introduce yourselves?
Good day, everybody, wherever you may be, and it's great to see you all. My name is William Lingar. I'm our Vice President of New System Sales here at Aptean in North America in our process manufacturing and food and beverage unit. I've been with Aptean about 3.5 years now, and it's been a great experience. Prior to that, I spent about 12 years at another ERP company, so very, very familiar overall with the industry and really excited about some of the things that we're doing here at Aptean, both now and in the future as well.
Awesome. Bruno?
My name is Bruno Johansson. I'm the VP of Product and Tech for our food and beverage product lines within Aptean, working both in North America and EMEA and APAC with the same product line. I've been at Aptean also 3.5 years. Started pretty much the same time as William. I came through an acquisition though, and been within this industry since pretty much 98, working with NAV since 98 when Navision it was called then. And started out as technical programmer, but now working on the product and tech side.
Awesome. Interesting. So tell us a little bit, William, how did the company get started? A little bit about your company history, and Bruno too. I'm kind of interested. What company did you come from?
Yeah, great questions, Carol. Aptean has a very unique and dynamic history. Originally, Aptean dates all the way back to around the 2013, 2014 time period of when Aptean was formed, but that was via the merger of a couple of old, what I would call more legacy type ERP solutions that were in the market at that time. We were formed via the financial backing of Vista Equity Partners. If you're not familiar with Vista, they were 100% dedicated on B2B SaaS sales in the software space. They saw an opportunity with Aptean to kind of consolidate and join forces with a couple of key competitors that were in the market at that time. And then the company has steadily evolved ever since. I would say perhaps the biggest evolution with the company started around 2018 when Aptean decided to go get into the food and beverage space in a greater degree than they already were. For context, Aptean had some existing solutions that were in the food and beverage space, but the technology wasn't the shiny, slick technology that a Microsoft was able to offer. And so Aptean decided to kind of pivot and get into the BC world at that time. So just to kind of give you an example, Aptean made an acquisition starting in 2018 of a North American Business Central partner who was specific to food and bev, and followed that up with a number of key acquisitions of BC ISVs, all dedicated to food and beverage globally from 2018 to 2022, 23. That culminated with about 7 strategic acquisitions overall.
Wow. Companies in that space coming together then under the food and beverage.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bruno and his company so happened to be one of those. And so he could even talk a little bit about what he was seeing in the marketplace at that time and why it obviously made a lot of sense to join forces with Aptean.
Sure. Bruno, do you want to talk about that?
And 2018 is where it started. And I'm also originally from the North American space, right? I worked with a company called Beck Consulting or BC Food, which is a company that I ran together with a partner for about 10 years. And Aptean acquired one of our competitors just a year prior. So I joined 2019 together with 2 other Business Central based ISVs that were vertically focused in the food industry. And since then, Aptean has continued that journey to join prior competitors or global companies that had built vertical products on the Business Central platform. And during the years, built out a lot of similar feature set and functionality, but done it in different ways. And the Business Central Navision platform has been around a long time. And we had also built out our technology on that existing platform using the existing tools and the technology we had available as we started 10, 15, even 20 years ago to some extent. And Microsoft has changed over the years. They've changed the Business Central and Nav product and made it a cloud SaaS ready product, which is very excited, and we've all been very excited about that for a long time. But it also comes with a different challenge. Or for smaller ISVs that are building out IP, specifically something as deep and complicated as a food beverage industry a vertical, we're going to have to invest a lot in rebuilding their existing product to make it cloud ready, cloud first. And that's why I specifically decided together with my partner to join with Aptean, and why everybody else also decided, you know what, it's the time has changed. We need to build a global product. It needs to be SaaS ready. It needs to be built on the cloud platform that Microsoft provides, which is evergreen. I mean, it's going to be continuously upgraded on a monthly basis. And how can we support that with our current product development team? And we just couldn't. We had to become, and what I call it, real software development firms, not just small, ISVs that try to do something in our garage or whatever, right? So that's what Aptean brings to the table, is the investment through our current and prior ownership, which is private equity and now also some venture capital, to invest in the platform from a R&D perspective, invest in the sales team from what's needed to compete with the big boys out there, such as SAP and NetSuite. So that really allows us and has allowed us in the past 3 years to take leaps forward in terms of where we were with the product that we had individually as smaller entities, and where we are right now with this global food and bev product, which is on AppSource as a modular componentized solution built with a cloud-first model and continuously updated in this evergreen world where we now live in.
Nice. So do you want to talk about, Bruno, a little bit about your products and what are they?
The product is designed for the SMB space, small mid-sized market. That's our customer profile. Now, I'll say that we have several enterprise customers too, and we are approaching more enterprise customers as we move further in with Microsoft and the platform itself, since now from a cloud perspective, the old issues we had with performance and being able to support multiple locales and multiple regions and segments at the same time is no longer an issue. As you know too, and as the Dynamics community knows, Microsoft has removed all the restrictions in terms of how many users we can have and how many transactions we can do, per day or per minute, So that's really nice, since we're now in that cloud, Azure cloud environment. So the product is, again, for that space, for the food and bev space, and it's a pretty broad space. So we have micro verticals within that space as well. We have protein, catch weight, features of functionality. So we focus in on that space. We have beverage specific functionality, very focused into breweries, distilleries, and so on. And actually, enhance our capabilities in that space just with a recent acquisition in Europe. And we have fresh functionality for the fresh space, the fresh cut, the fresh distribution, and the packers and so forth. And we have other specific functionality for other verticals as well. Now, we do cover the full spectrum of the food and bev space, but as we continue this journey with Aptean and building out even more product in the next several years, we are going to move more into micro verticals within the food industry to be even more specialized.
Is there any other ERPs you're compatible with?
Well, so the product is built on Business Central. We build out the apps that we call this on AppSource, right? So it's built in the AL code and the AL language. Now, I should mention too that we have another set of solutions, business solutions, that works together with our product, where industry-based Business Central solution or vertical solution. And that's what we call our Beyond ERP or our Aptean Advantage part, a set of business solutions. So that's really what the market has been looking for more and more. We have the ERP, and we expected to have the ERP. We expected to have the financials. We expected to have, the food industry experience. But what about transportation management? What about EDI? What about asset management? What about MES and OEE and CRM, et cetera, right? Who we work with on that is what our customers are asking us. And we said, well, we can work with this third party or this third party or this third party. And all of a sudden you have like 5 product managers and 3 different softwares they need to integrate. And then you need an integration company too, right? That handles that. So you made your digital transformation so much more complicated because all these different partners needs to talk to each other and integrate with each other. So that's also the Aptean model, right? We provide all these additional business solutions that allows our customers to take the next step in the transformation journey, which that's really where they need to go, if not today as they implement the ERP, but in the next couple of years to stay competitive.
William, what challenges are you seeing that partners and customers are trying to adapt? I think Bruno didn't talk about a few here, but what have you seen in the channel?
What we've seen is I think we're kind of in what I would call BC 3.0, right? So we've gone through the nav evolution, we've gone through the initial release of BC in 2018, which was largely on-prem, and now we're into the BC online world, right? Sort of that 3.0 version of things. And what partners are continually telling us is, in the past, we were very willing to go and heavily customize for missing functionality, right? And we were happy to go get third-party bolt-ons and really, everything we needed for the last mile solution, it was custom or it was third-party, right? And so what they're telling us now is that may have been okay for us as the partner at that time, but it's not the right thing for the customer. And we know, inherently what is the right thing for the customer also is the right thing for the partner from a long-term perspective. So that's really where we're able to come play, right? So twofold. Number one, having everything in an evergreen environment in BC Online is really huge. And then being able to have enough functionality so that you really have customizations are truly minimized. And everybody may have things like, their special reports that they run, and that obviously never goes away. But instead of a lot of last mile functionality that people would do before, really have it out of the box, which results in faster deployments, faster time to value for the customer. And then secondly, when we talk about the changes in the last couple of years, Forrester has this whole concept of an industry cloud. And Bruno touched on it, but an industry cloud, according to Forrester, is a preset of various applications that are in the cloud that are integrated for a specific vertical. And that's exactly what Aptean's come to market with, right? So that way we can also work with our partners to give them a solution, an Aptean preferred solution, wherever there may be external gaps outside of the ERP, versus them having to go out and involve multiple vendors to solve that for their customer. Mm-hmm. So really all kind of goes hand in hand with a lot of what Bruno says. The partners are seeing the benefits of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially the acceleration in the cloud, people moving to the cloud, getting off of on-prem. There's a lot of transition still happening, right?
Yeah, Microsoft is driving that a lot too, right? Microsoft's continuously releasing new features, new functionality, new integrations, and bringing their product portfolio closer to each other. And our customers want to leverage that. And in the on-prem world, it's harder just from an integration perspective and connectivity perspective, but it's also harder in the past because you didn't upgrade. The traditional upgrade path for a customer is that you install the ERP, and then 3 to 5 years later, maybe you upgrade, right? So during those 3 to 5 years, as Microsoft releases new product, as Aptean releases new product, as new other solutions come to market that integrates with, the Business Central product, third party, or from a vertical provider such as Aptean, those customers are told about those, but says also that they need to upgrade in order to adopt them. But now, being on a BC Online, evergreen, continuously updated product, they can adopt those immediately when they have time and availability to do so. They're not forced to adopt them. And that's also what we're doing with our connectivity to our Beyond ERP solutions, vertical products that goes beyond the ERP solution with business solutions for TMS and so forth that I mentioned, but also for the apps and the functionality we provide specifically for Business Central. Customers can adopt what they need when they need it, when they're ready for it, and they can be assured that those connectivities, that functionality is supported on the version of the ERP they run, because they always run the latest version.
Yeah, I like that approach. Speaking of customers, can you talk to Bruno about how you help customers be successful with your product and why?
Yeah, absolutely. So it comes back to the deep understanding of the food industry. So, and that's rooted now deep into Aptean as well. As we started this you can say, well, Aptean has only been in the food industry really since 2018. In the BC world, at least, we have other products, as William mentioned before, that were in the food industry before. But if you take the combined experience that we have as a company as it relates to the food industry, it's hundreds of years, right? And if not thousands of years with the employees we have working on the product. And also not only in the vertical industry, the food industry, but also on the Business Central product itself. And combined, we have close to, I would say, probably 8 to 900 customers that are in the food industry on the BC Nav Dynamics Nav Navision product, and beyond 1,000 if you talk just food industry itself with other products that covers that industry too. So Aptean's expertise in this area is just huge. And that's really how we can provide functionality, features, and support and expertise and best practice advice to our customers. It's not just by providing a technical solution, it's providing a technical solution that fits their industry, that works for their industry, and not just trying to work for their industry based on what the customer says they want. We can tell them what they should have and how they should do things.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I would add that was fundamental to Aptean's understanding of the market back in 2018, right? When they surveyed the market, what they found was there were a lot of very industry-specific food solutions that were out there who did offer very deeply personalized support, but they didn't have the resources to necessarily invest into the future. Neither did they have the technology to keep up with, the ever-changing landscape in IT. And then on the flip side, we found a lot of people who had great technology. They were pumping a lot of money into their products. They had various very broad marketing and sales distribution channels throughout the world, but they didn't necessarily have the true vertical experience in food and beverage.
Mm-hmm.
And so adopting the BC platform really gave us the chance to be both horizontal with our technology skill set, as well as vertical with the product specific functionality at the same time, which is really what the market is asking for.
Right. Yeah, gotcha. So just kind of changing gears a little bit. So let's talk about kind of some of the things coming in the future. What new things are you looking to add or introduce to add value and help customers move along that journey to the cloud?
From a product perspective, just more features and functionality, deeper features and functionality is always something that we're gonna do, right? As we continue to build out the product. But adoption of product is huge because the solution itself needs to have this complicated functionality, advanced functionality. Shouldn't be using the word complicated, it should be advanced, right? But it is advanced and the customers need it. But how do they learn on how to adopt this quickly so they can make the most of it and reap the benefits of it, see that ROI that they're looking for? So that's a lot we're investing in. Various ways to just not only from a product perspective, but definitely from a product perspective too, to make it simple and easy and quick to adopt our solutions overall. And that is integrations, that is training, that is learning management systems, and standardizing the configurations, templates, setups, with best practices and so forth that we already know. We just need to get them, into the customers to use and adopt.
Yeah, William, do you have anything to add to that?
I think ultimately we want to give the customers more resources and give them the options to engage with Aptean on different levels. We know that people learn different ways, right? So we have a huge initiative underway with a very extensive video library for people who learn in video best as opposed to one-on-one instructor live training. That's a big initiative for us, is to really meet the customer where they are on their journey. And everybody is hybrid these days. So that's something that we're also taking into consideration as well. We're able to go out now and really recruit talent wherever that talent is. We don't have to be in a specific location, such as Alpharetta, which is where our corporate headquarters are. So we're trying to be as flexible as we possibly can, and then offer customers options, because the one-size-fits-all approach doesn't work for everybody. From an implementation standpoint, an ongoing support standpoint, we really want to offer them different options that can be they can pick that really fits their type of business and where they're at in their digital transformation journey.
Mm-hmm. So, William, just to kind of talk a little bit more just about what you're seeing in the industry with partners. I know you now are in North America, but what are you seeing from longtime partners or new Dynamics partners in the channel?
So great question, Carol. What we're seeing is we've been talking about BC Online, the Microsoft Cloud, for a number of years, but people initially were a little bit hesitant to raise their hand and say, I'm ready for that. Let's do that. And so I think people had different nervousness, whether it be, just the pain of an upgrade or being in a public cloud or dealing with regular updates all the time, sort of the sense that maybe an IT person somewhere is losing a little bit control, which is all part of the maturation of the industry. What we're seeing now at this point in 2023 is partners are coming to us and saying, hey, we've got customers that have been in the food and bev space for a long time, and they're on various old ISV solutions, or they're on nav, or we heavily customize them, or we've got bolt-ons to third-party ERPs, and now they really want to go all in on BC Online, and we think the Aptean solution is the right solution. And so most of the partners have been coming to us saying, we've kind of watched what's happened in the industry. We've seen some consolidation. We've seen things shake out and where the other partners were going to choose to focus their time. And we can clearly see that Aptean has emerged as the company who has the most focus, the most R&D spend, and the biggest employee concentration into this vertical. Therefore, we feel really good about finding ways to partner with you to take care of our customers for the foreseeable future.
So add something else to that too, and this is nothing new for anybody in the Microsoft BC world, right? Microsoft has been on this vertical focus and trying to roll that out to partners for a long time. Focus on the vertical, focus on a product that you have industry experience with, and can build industry experience around, so you can provide more value quicker to your focused customer base. So obviously that's what Aptean is doing with our solutions, and also from the service perspective that we provide those direct services within that space. But that's also something that partners are starting to adopt, to say like, well, if I don't have a product, I need to line up with a partner that has the product so I can focus on the vertical from a service perspective. And that's really going to be a must going forward. As I mentioned before, I've been in the space since the late 90s, and early 2000s, or even up until 2010, you worked in any business you could get, right? It was more local too. So I'm in the Bay Area. One day I was out at the train company. The next day I was out at the workshop for Toyota Material Handling, because they were doing trucks and wanted the software there. The next day it was a food industry company, and it was fun in the beginning because you get to see all these different things. But ultimately, the customer and the value you can provide is much better when you can go into a company and not only understand the software, but understand your industry, and tell the customer, well, you know what, I see what you're doing here, but have you thought about doing this? Or do you know that your other customers in this space that I'll be working with before are doing this? Then you become that trusted partner much, much quicker, because you provide not just the technical expertise about what you can do with the software, which many times led to customizations, because you go, oh, you want to do this, that, and the other. Yeah, we can do it. Then you customize it. Instead, you tell the customer, how about doing this? We have the product, or we have a partner, we have an expertise in this industry, so we can implement this software for you in this way. And then you're going to be more efficient, and you're going to use more of the best practices that are used in general in the industry.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of customers like working with partners and software companies that understand their industry, and they'll ask, what are other customers? What do you see other customers? So they want to know, is there a better way? They know the way they've been doing it in their specific business, but maybe in that industry, there's someone else that did it a different way.
The other thing I was just going to add, Carol, is we do have partners that are coming to us saying, hey, we want to have a key vertical. And we know food and beverage is as close to recession proof as any vertical that is out there, right? And we also know that the habits of what people eat and how they eat is also changing as well, which leads to innovation in the industry. And with that innovation comes the need for an ERP to support new companies, market disruptors who are coming to the market with new ways to augment the existing food supply chain. So that's a big thing. I think we've all witnessed a revolution in food in the last 10 years, but it's ongoing. And especially with the global supply chain shifting the way it is, we expect that to continue to be the trend. And ultimately, the most important thing is, how do we get food people's plates safely, taking into account things like allergen management and food safety. The food safety as the supply chain changes is going to be absolutely huge. And it really impacts everybody, right? Everybody on this call, everybody watching this call. And we give companies the ability to truly manage that and feel really good about the products they're delivering to their end consumers.
And it does seem, you're right, in the food industry, just as a consumer, there's a lot more attributes, right, that you're looking for as a consumer, right? Like non-GMO, organic certified. I mean, all of these things are really important to consumers now, and they're doing a lot of reading of those labels and the content of the food that they're going to use in their households.
100%, right? And our software is built specifically to help people with certifications, labeling, you name it. So it's really great stuff.
Is there any other perspectives you want to share about how companies or customers are trying to improve their operational efficiencies and effectiveness?
So specifically for the food industry in the past, it was a lot about machinery, automation with machinery, right? Better packing lines, faster packing lines, metal detectors, and just basically in their facility investing in more automation and more efficiencies. So in the past 10 years specifically, that has shifted also to become more software, more data that is collected that we can make strategic business decisions on to understand what our costs are. Food is in general, not all of the food industry, but in general, it's high volume, low margin, right? That's in general what we're looking at. So understanding your cost components such as freight and storage and as electricity goes up, freezing costs, et cetera, and allocate those to the products that you sell, in some cases have resulted in the customer seeing like, you know what, we actually lose money on every pound of this product we sell to this one customer. And I'm not going to mention specific customers that our customers sell to, but some of these customers, they take a big piece of it and have some spoilage and other fees to just do business with them. So having an understanding of that is becoming more critical to face, what's going on. And again, as William said, that the supply chain, but also the increasing costs in general. So this data that our customers are now collecting, which we enable them to do with an automation fashion, with our shop floor solution, with our mobile warehouse, everything is inventory in the food industry, right? It's heavy inventory, it's lot traceability. So every single unit that you receive has a unique lot, or a batch has a unique lot, and then we license plate it in between to track that. So our customers knows exactly what they received, at what cost, where they went through production orders, through transfers, to new production orders, to WIP product, to finished good product, and out to the customer. And tracing that cost and that inventory from a compliance perspective, obviously traceability itself, from a safety, but also from a cost perspective, is of high interest to be more competitive and understand what's going on in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I would add to that is, there's CRM functions, there's finance functions, there's marketing functions, there's what I call table stakes functionality that all ERPs have, right? But it's really the 15 to 20% of the ERP that is tailored to your industry that really drives the ROI behind the solution. So just one example we consistently see is for customers who deal with, as all of our manufacturing clients do, planning and production, helping them get out of their Excel spreadsheets, helping them get out of their finger in the wind planning methodology, so they can really understand, okay, how many hours did our production team spend on overtime in the last 12 months? How many unplanned changeovers do we have a week? What percent of our production time is being used for those changeovers? What's our current production utilization as a percentage of shift time? All of those things correlate to hard dollar ROI for the customer when they can improve efficiencies in those areas. And that's exactly what we can offer them.
Yeah. And that comes to one of our Beyond ERP products. Like, what do you do to analyze all this? Obviously, BI. Okay, so do I need to buy a BI system? No, we provide that already, obviously. And it's already integrated, and it provides the KPIs needed for the IP, for the product, for the industry we serve.
Mm-hmm. So what do both of you see as far as new trends on the horizon in the food and beverage?
We talk about the obvious AI, huh? It's on everybody's mind right now. So in food and bev industry in general, that's it's impacting all industries, right? So I'm just going to talk a little bit on how Aptean is looking at it and what our initiatives are. And it kind of comes back to that adoption of the product. So we have documentation, we have FAQs, we have these are the processes, these are the training videos, this is how you could use the software, this is how you set up your commissions and so on. And you Google it and you read documentation and so on and so forth, right? So again, what we're have an initiative right now and should be able to roll up not too far in the future is that AI model that can help our customers understand our software. It's just Microsoft that enables us to do that with their initiatives and how they built it up and how we can take advantage of that AI model very quickly to feed it with our knowledge that we have on paper and also in our employees' heads, if you will, based on experience, how we can get that into a model that our customers can take advantage of that sooner, quicker, and more efficiently.
Mm-hmm. What other trends are you seeing in the future that might affect customers?
I think the biggest thing is food safety regulations are always evolving, and there's going to be a lot of scrutiny placed on that, probably more than ever, in the year 2024 going beyond, right? And the need to make sure that you always stay compliant from a regulatory perspective is absolutely huge for our customers. And so thankfully, we can be a trusted partner there. We are serving exclusively the F&B industry with this solution, right? We don't have anybody else on this solution outside of an F&B client. And so we can really leverage the power of the Aptean community and the customer community to help them, everybody collectively stay ahead of changing regulations. I think both from a networking standpoint as well as from a software standpoint as well. So that is always top of mind here. Sustainability is obviously a big topic on everybody's mind. How can we give the same production output, but do it in a responsible and sustainable manner? And I think our software will absolutely help people to make those decisions in the future.
Mm-hmm. A lot happening on that front for sure. So just kind of in conclusion, so is there really one trend that you guys see as far as what's driving customers to come or partners come and talk to you?
Yeah, I think we're on the point of a refresh cycle for food and bev. Many of the folks purchased an industry specific solution, or they purchased Microsoft Great Plains, for example, right around 12 years ago. Coming out of the financial recession of 2008, 2009, we saw a big spend in ERP 2010, 2011. You fast forward 12 years ago, it's a natural refresh time for people to upgrade their ERP. And then they know that their workforce is changing. They want to give them the right solution that the workforce is going to be comfortable with so they continue to attract the type of talent that they want going forward. That's a very, very competitive market in terms of the labor market.
Bruno, if you wanted to add to that?
Kind of building on the same thing that William talked about, automation is more of interest to the industry in general because of cost of labor and shortage of labor in some areas. Many times in 10, 15 years ago, again, trying to go into a company and say, this is what the software is going to cost to automate this process. And then they go, well, I'm just going to hire a temp and take care of that. Well, that's becoming more troublesome. The cost of labor is going up. The cost of access to labor is harder too, as we've seen specifically now in the past couple of years, right? So that's definitely something that we're seeing, that customers are looking for more software to help with that instead of just having manual data entry or some manual process in place. And then on the evolution of the ERP or that cycle we're in, I kind of touched on that in the past too, but there's also generational shift, and it's been going on for a while within the food industry, where there is a generation coming in and looking at, well, why are we running green screens? We've spent all our money on the machines for salespeople and whatever it is. It's just that shift is just driving more investment in the software. And at this point in time, our customers are really looking for not the software that's going to take them through the next 5 years. That was the kind of the past. I buy a software, it takes me through 5 years, then I upgrade, or maybe I do it again, then which the next software I'm going to go to would happen with the industry and what happened with technology at that point. Now I'm really looking for a software that is going to take me where I need to go for the foreseeable future. I shouldn't have to upgrade in the next 5 years. I should adopt the software, implement the software, get on that software right now, and then that's it until I get bought out and forced into another software, right? Because I shouldn't have to switch. And we always used to say that once you go on Navision or Dynamics Nav, you're going to stay. Well, now we can say once you go on the latest version of Aptean Food and Bev built on the Business Central platform, you never have to upgrade again, right? You're done. So that's where we're really going to.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Bruno and William, for joining today on ISV Talks. It was really interesting to hear about the industry that you're in and how you're helping partners and customers. Here's their contact information. If you want to reach out to either William or Bruno, please do so. Thank you again, Bruno and William, for joining today.
Thank you. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you for having us, Carol. It's been great.
That was fun. All right. See you on the next episode of ISV Talk, friends. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.